Coming up on Fulton Today, Fulton officials address the issue of sexual exploitation and abuse. We'll tell you what they're doing. And need to report to the Fulton County Courthouse for jury duty? We'll have details on how the court is relocating its jury room. Fulton Today starts right now. Welcome to Fulton Today, everyone. Each month, thousands of young women become victims of sexual exploitation in and around the Fulton County and Atlanta metropolitan area. And in many cases, these incidents go unreported. Well, Fulton County is addressing this issue in a major way. FGTV's Priscilla Ortega has our story.
Shania, Fulton commissioners gave unanimous support to a resolution that creates a coalition that prevents sexual exploitation. All the elected officials agree this is a significant step in an issue that is so prevalent in Fulton County.
Child sex trafficking is right in our backyard, and it doesn't discriminate.
It's been the topic of discussion between community and government leaders for a long time. And now, an official plan of action to battle sexual exploitation in Fulton County.
On behalf of the young girl who was in my office yesterday, who has been chronically homeless since she was 16 years old, many instances of exploitation, who's continuing to fight to make sure that she will never have to make that as a choice of hers, I again say thank you for what you're going to do.
The plan comes in the form of a resolution that authorizes Fulton County and its agencies to form partnerships with nonprofits, law enforcement, public health organizations, academic institutions, and justice councils to develop real strategies aimed at tackling human trafficking.
In terms of what's happening on the national scene and all the activity that's happening around the world and also within the United States, seemingly a high proportion of that activity is happening right here underneath our noses.
According to the Governor's Office for Children and Families, more than 300 girls each month are commercially sexually exploited in Georgia. Their average age of entry into prostitution is between 12 and 14 years old.
And we're all going to have to dig in and work harder to defeat this issue. It's manifests itself maybe a little bit differently today than what it did with the growth of the internet.
You know, to be number one is impressive in most things, but certainly not in this. Certainly not in this. And there's really nothing more important than the safety of our children.
In addition to talking the talk, we walk the walk, which means giving the same priority to the most vulnerable persons in this community that we presently give to the most powerful.
The new coalition will present its findings and recommendations to the Board of Commissioners, and the county manager will also provide the coalition with county resources to assist in prevention of commercial sexual exploitation. Reporting in downtown Atlanta, I'm Priscilla Ortega for FGTV.
Thank you very much. Meanwhile, Fulton County's Superior Court is setting up its own sexual assault protocol committee in response to what it's heard has been insensitive treatment of victims and the collection of evidence. Now, the Honorable Gail Tucson is the Chief Judge for Superior Court. Judge, welcome to Fulton Today.
Thank you for having me.
So, Your Honor, what prompted the need to establish this type of protocol committee?
Well, we're talking about the Sexual Assault Protocol Committee, and it is actually a creature of the legislature, the Georgia legislature. So there is a statute, it's OCGA 1524-2, and it requires for counties to establish a protocol committee. And in my role as the Chief Judge and the Administrative Judge for the Atlanta Judicial Circuit, I'm required to convene the committee, get the conversation going. We had a great first meeting.
And will this cover all sexual assault victims?
The purpose of the protocol is to make sure that all of the stakeholders that would be involved at some point during the chain of the development of a case involving a sexual assault victim, that there is accountability and understanding, and to the extent possible, everyone working together to make sure that the victim is properly attended to, that the alleged defendant, that his or her rights are being respected. And so it's an opportunity for us to have community conversation about a very horrible circumstance, which is a sexual assault. So it will, the protocol, once it is established, will address all victims.
And now, Judge, can you talk a little bit about some of the services that these victims may be able to receive?
Well, the protocol is focused on basically four areas. So investigating the crime, collecting the evidence of the crime, paying the expenses for any related evidence collection, and prosecuting the cases that arise from the sexual assault. So when you ask about what services will be provided to the victims, the services will be continual from beginning to end. So when the victim is first perhaps at the hospital, and if we're talking about a rape and a rape kit is being collected, then the individual victim will receive services to assist the victim in even getting through that horrific experience.
And Your Honor, please, your final thoughts.
According to the statute, as I said earlier, there are certain entities that need to be present, and they include law enforcement of the largest municipality in the county. So for us, that would be the city of Atlanta. The county law enforcement, so we had Fulton County Police, we had the Sheriff's Department represented, the Rape Crisis Center, if there is one in the vicinity, we have that at Grady. We had private citizen, we had a public health physician, an emergency trauma physician, and then we had the district attorney's office represented, and the community health, Fulton County Health Department was also here. So we were very pleased with the turnout.
The Honorable Gail Tucson, Fulton County's Chief Judge. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I was very happy to visit with you as well.
And speaking of Superior Court, it is relocating its law library to make space for what will be the new jury room.
We do have a shuffling of space, and we're very excited about it. We're currently in the process of renovating our new jury assembly room. That room will be placed in what is now our law library.
The renovations are expected to take several months, but there is a temporary location visitors can use until the project is finished.
The law library space is going to be available on a much smaller scale. What we're going to do is have computers set up for patrons as well as publications in a smaller space. There will still be staff there to assist them. There will still be a lot of resources available to them, and we'll also give them resources in the local area. So if you want to go to juvenile court, there's a self-help center on the first floor. We'll point you in that direction.
The library offers a collection of legal materials, particularly as it relates to Georgia law and trial court materials. Now, jurors who get a summons to appear for service will still check in on the 7th floor of the Justice Center Tower during the renovations. The Fulton Marshal gives the county's top executive an up-close look at what his officers encounter while on the job. Antonio Johnson and Dick Anderson followed not so closely in an unmarked car as deputies in full body armor served warrants in several locations.
We didn't get the individual we were looking for, but we did ascertain information so we can do a follow-up to ascertain the location and the individual to make the arrest.
Anderson says the ride-along gave him a greater appreciation for the Marshal's team of professionals.
We just left from a location for an individual that had a probation violation. They are in full body armor, and they're in that because they don't know what they're going to encounter.
In addition to serving warrants, The Marshal's Department also provides security at the Fulton County Courts. Fulton County is seeking input from its residents on how it can best provide service. An online survey will give the public a chance to give government officials feedback as a part of the county's strategic planning process called First in Three. Fulton is striving to become the very best in efficiency, service, and impact.
In adopting those principles, the board really set the course for us to develop performance indicators as well as strategies in each of those 6 areas. The county manager started off working for Fulton County with a mantra. He thought that the county, or the goal for the county, was to be first in impact, service, and efficiency. And the board was so impressed by that mantra that they adopted it as the guiding principle for the strategic planning process.
Citizens' input will help develop county priorities covering health, safety, self-sufficiency, economic opportunities, along with cultural and recreational services.
One of the primary and easiest ways for citizens to communicate with us about strategy and give us feedback is to take our citizen survey, which is located online. It is at survey@fultoncountyga.gov. It is a fantastic way for them to give us feedback on the planning process, as well as give us input on how they know that we're being successful in each of the 6 priority areas.
Fulton Survey will be available on the county's website at the address right there on your screen. And still to come, residents speak out about the plans to improve a busy intersection. We'll have that story in our district-by-district coverage next. Seniors speak out on issues important to them, and South Fulton residents hear details about the improvements for a very busy intersection. Here's this week's district-by-district coverage. In District 4, seniors voiced their concerns and questions to county staff. The Helene S. Mills multi-purpose facility was the scene of one of the final strategic planning forums sponsored by Fulton's Aging and Youth Services Department. For several weeks, staff has engaged the public about feedback on services and their needs.
I really enjoy the forum because this is the first time that I'm attending. I'm just joining the Mills Center after just a recent retirement, and I find it very informative to get everybody involved.
Health, transportation, home repairs, and services for grandparents raising grandchildren were just some of the issues mentioned by the seniors.
By hearing directly from them about the issues impacting them, also want to understand the issues impacting the agency itself, what's working, what's not working, and also want to do more than just understanding problems and hearing about problems. We want to hear about solutions.
The county's objectives are to increase programs, address social and health needs, improve relationships between the generations, and of course, maintain quality customer service. Residents in South Fulton hear the latest proposal to ease traffic congestions at the Butner Road and Stonewall Tell Road intersection. The Department of Transportation held a community meeting at the Cliftondale Community Center.
We're coming back to the community to provide them an upgrade on the status of the project and somehow to educate a little more with regards to what roundabouts are, how do they function, and what it does for an unsignalized intersection.
The plan calls for 2 roundabouts at Butner and Stonewall Tell intersections.
So it looks like it's very practical and very doable.
I think the concept is a great idea. We definitely need a way to make the flow of traffic a lot easier and a lot better.
District 5 staff members informed residents that Commissioner Marvin Arrington Jr. wants to get additional information on possible alternatives to the proposed roundabout. And finally, in District 6, Fulton County firefighters dedicate one of their garden beds to Commissioner Emma I. Darnell. The first responders presented the commissioner with the garden as a way to thank her for all of her support that she's given to Station 11 and their department. The garden bed is outside of the firehouse located on Fulton Industrial Boulevard.
We just appreciate so much the men and women of Fire Rescue coming together with Dr. Chester and planting this garden and being serious about nutritious food. I learned a lot, and I'm really going to look forward to stopping by for dinner.
You have your own garden bed now.
The garden bed dedication was made just as the firefighters were harvesting their crop with staff from the county's Cooperative Extension Service. We'll have more on that part of the story later in the show. Now you can catch more of your commissioners at work all this week with the rebroadcast of the Board of Commissioners meeting right here on FGTV. And still to come, a new county doctor is in the house. We'll introduce you to the new interim health director when we come back. Well, the county has a new top doctor with over 20 years of experience in public health. Dr. David Sarno is now joining us to talk to us about his new role. Welcome to Fulton County and welcome to Fulton Today.
Thank you, Shania. Pleasure to be here.
So, Doctor, we understand you've been here for just a few weeks and you have been named as the Interim Health Director for Health Services. First, tell everybody a little bit about your medical experience and your background.
I started out as an emergency medical technician in college, after college in Florida. After medical school, I did a family practice residency with the Air Force. I was fortunate enough to be assigned as a flight surgeon with Special Operations Command immediately after that and got my first experience with preventive medicine and emergency preparedness doing that. After about 10 years of primary and operational medicine, I did my Master's of Public Health and a residency in general preventive medicine and aerospace medicine. From that point on, I worked basically in an advisory senior role, developing plans and policies and overseeing industrial hygiene, public health, aerospace medicine, and medical emergency preparedness for the Air Force. After I retired in July, I was fortunate enough to come to work for the county, and here I am.
And talk now about your duties with this new role.
My primary job is to assist the department's director with the operational scope of what we would consider the traditional public health department. For example, environmental health, communicable disease programs, epidemiology, outbreak investigation, to run sort of the day operations and oversee that and report to the health director, who is responsible to the county manager and the Board of Commissioners. If the county manager is unavailable, I would also assist by taking over the oversight of the department itself and the interface with the county and oversight of the Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities Department.
And so you've just had an opportunity to get a little bit of the lay of the land. Any goals on tap?
Well, this early it's difficult to say specifically, but I'd like to bring my experience in public health, emergency preparedness, and planning and policy to bear here in Fulton County to help basically create a healthier and more prepared population.
And sir, your final comments.
Final comments. I think we've got an opportunity right now with the support of the team that I've got working with me to basically create a world-class public health organization. I agree with the county's current direction of providing measurable outcomes and goals to prove the value of our department. Keeping in mind, however, that public health goals tend to be long-term goals. Very few changes that we institute today would actually be visible tomorrow. In fact, that tends to be the exception rather than the rule. Still, I think we have the ability to create or continue the type of programs that will result in healthier populations going forward.
Dr. David Sarno, our new interim health director, again, welcome to the county and thanks so much for your time.
Well, Sonia, thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure.
As we head into cold and flu season, health coaches offer some easy ways to keep you from getting sick. Fulton's Employee Wellness Committee set up shop at the Government Center to distribute info on how to stay well this season. The team recommends adding coconut oil to your diet to help build up your immune system. They say putting coconut oil around your nostrils will also open up your sinuses. Also, gargling with baking soda and using witch hazel will also help fend off bad bacteria.
A lot of people use antibacterial soaps, but there's a lot of research out there that may actually be doing more harm than good because it takes away the good and the bad bacteria.
Health experts also recommend getting a flu shot. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says flu season runs from October to May and typically peaks around December. Cooperative Extension agents give firefighters a first-hand lesson in eating healthy. Agents show the crews from Fire Station 11 how to have a plentiful fall vegetable garden. The first responders got on their hands and knees and planted seeds in several garden beds. They also harvested the vegetables they had already grown right outside their fire station.
They have one at the station where they can come out here and actively grow the foods that they will consume, and it's much, much more healthier for them.
Firefighters got tips on what plants can survive the fall months.
Anything that's green and leafy, like your spinach, there's some lettuces that will last a couple of months before it gets really cold, collard greens, turnips, and those kinds of things.
Over the past year, Cooperative Extension has taught firefighters how to incorporate more vegetables in their diet and how to exercise with the Walk Away program. Way to go, guys. And still to come, Wolf Creek wraps up another successful concert season. We'll have that story when we come back. Well, over 100 people submit their masterpieces in the 19th Annual National Arts Program Competition. Fulton's Arts and Culture Department recognized some very talented Fulton County employees and their families as a part of the special awards reception at the Government Center downtown. One first-place winner says you can always find inspiration for your next art piece if you keep your eyes open to your surroundings.
At any time that you see something that sparks your thirst or your imagination, take advantage of it.
The National Arts Program takes place all over the country every fall.
Every year, the National Arts Program provides us with the funding and an opportunity for employees to exhibit their work in a professional environment. We thank them for their participation and for their artistic creativity.
Awards were given for each category that ranged from professional to youth under 12. They were judged on artistic merit, vision, and of course, creativity. And finally, it's a wrap for the 2015 concert series at the Wolf Creek Amphitheater. The final concert series, Jazz Under the Stars, featured Boney James and Mesa Leak, just to name a few. There were 20 concerts this season, 15 of them were sold out. Visitors say they will keep coming back because of the good performers, free parking, and ability to bring your own food and drinks.
It's a very fabulous venue,
yes.
And I enjoy it.
Yes. So we'll be a patriot. From now
we will be back.
Wolf Creek Amphitheater's coordinator, Sandy Pogue, says next year will be even better.
Patrons will be in for a huge delight when they see the brand new LED screens that we are going to install, and also our promoters as well as our artists are going to be delighted as well with a brand new green room, which will seat over 40 of the artists and their band.
And you can stay tuned to FGTV and wolfcreekamphitheater.org for the latest news on events coming to the venue. And before we go, our reminder that we'd like to connect with you online. Check us out anytime on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and of course watch us anytime on our YouTube channel. Well, that does it for this edition of Fulton Today. Thank you so much for watching. Join us each week for news around and about Fulton County.